here. Good morning, Mehuman. How's my beautiful friend? I haven't seen
Good
you in a
morning.
while, and it's so good to see you again.
It's been a week, and it's been nice to see you again, too.
Nice to see
We've
you.
had some crazy, crazy Maine weather. If you're up here, you know what we're talking about.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you
Yeah,
do. Cold
it's been
fronts and
fun.
warm fronts and fog and moisture and flowers and
Yeah,
probably moose wearing pajamas. You never know what you're going to find in Maine.
yeah.
Well, listen, we've got a wonderful show coming up. We've got Emily Hansen is hanging out in the green room, and why don't we just get on it and sing a song? What do you say?
Sounds good.
When you're down and you're blue and you don't know what to do, just write a postcard. When you're feeling fine and there's something on your mind, just write a postcard. Don't you know Grandma loves this show? She listens every time. You don't need a reason. You don't need a rhyme to write a postcard. The P.O. Box 1252. Just write a postcard. 04098. Just write a postcard to Westbrook, Maine, 'cause Grandma loves this show. Oh, I miss singing with you. I miss singing with you. I miss your voice. And, I consider myself, I hope you know, Mehuman, incredibly blessed to have you in my world. Thank you for being a part of it. Thank you for showing up on Postcards. Welcome, everybody. We're so glad you're here. If you're just joining us for the very first time, we have a P.O. Box in Westbrook, Maine. P.O. Box 1252, Westbrook, Maine, 04098. Write us a postcard. We will read it on the air on Mondays because our Mondays are starting up, and that is Read the Mail Day. Okay?
Read the mail day.
And then you will go on the Wall of Fame. You will be celebrated and feted, and you will be automatically entered into our postcard contest. And if you're a little bit shy, like you're an introverted person or a shy person, and you're like, I love to make postcards, I love to create postcards, and you're like, I don't want my name read on the air, all you got to do is make up another name. Am I right?
You are right. You could be even something like, even though they're not shy, you could be like something like the Hesbars.
That's
Yeah,
right. You could
they're
be
not
Hesbars.
shy. They just have a cool name.
We got to get them on again. We haven't seen the Hesbars here on the. If anybody's wondering what that is, just go look at hashtag Hesbars. It's all over social media. Hashtag HSBARS. And I'm going to put it here as we're talking about our guest that's here because she is a Hesbars.
Yeah. We probably should have a reunion day. Like when we get sometime this fall, maybe we'll have a reunion episode where we'll get everybody on and just say
that's a great idea.
Since the summer is over almost officially.
How are we going to do? We have to get somebody to help us run we'll have to do it on a giant Zoom call.
Sure we can. Giant Zoom.
Oh my God. Well, we got a really special someone in the green room. Am I right?
The most special someone in the
most special someone. This young lady has been a part of my world since 2018. When I first met her, I fell in love with her instantly. She runs an incredible show. She also has a artist advocate and booking agency called Magnolia Roads, based in Las Vegas. But she produces shows in Nashville, and there's one coming up on September 25th, actually, American Roots Saturday and Backyard Campfire Sessions. Saturday, the 25th of September at Dee's Country Cocktail Lounge in Madison, Tennessee. This is a really cool venue. And Postcards is going to kick it off on Saturday at 12:30 Eastern Standard Time, 11:30 Central. We are going to be live from D's. And live from D's. You're going to be live from D's, and I'm going to be sitting right here. And
it's going to be awesome because we're going to be
awesome
together. Thanks to technology, silver lining again. And who knew? The stuff that we've learned in the shining, the silver lining of the clouds of COVID or whatever, clouds of whatever, it keeps just extending itself. It's going to be fun. And we're going to get to meet some people we haven't met in person before, and some say hellos and some hugs to some folks that we've got. Like our dance card is full. Our dance card is full of folks.
And I'm going to be
And
like
that'll be
texting
fun.
you every 5 seconds and be like, can you get a selfie with this person? Can you get a selfie with that person? Can you go live with this
that's
person?
so
Can you
weird.
get that person? I'm going to be bugging you the whole time.
That's so funny because I never think to get selfies with people, and that'll be like a thing I'll have to. I even, I think I got a selfie stick one time as a elephant prize, and one of those Secret Santa things, and I have no clue where that thing is. It's so funny. So we'll try to do that. That's a good idea.
Okay.
Well, actually, we'll get screenshots because we're going to have loads of people. We're going to have 75 minutes to talk to
everybody.
The folks be performing. So they're just going to be plopping down and jumping up and popping in and poking in and popping in. So it's going to be great. So we'll get
awesome.
Screenshots galore.
All right. So mark your calendars. We're going to be on Mondays, Thursdays for the fall season. Mondays are Mehuman and Jenny talking whatnot, singing songs. We're going to be getting back to playing songs on our own show, which we haven't been doing for a minute because it was summer and we were interviewing all these incredible artists who were booked fantastic. And we have a full slate this fall. It's all on our Facebook page. And it's all been booked by the amazing Emily Hansen, who I think we should bring in right now.
We should. That's a perfect time.
This is our This is our third producer.
Emily Hansen.
All right. Yo, Emily.
Emily Hansen. He had an echo for you.
Hello. And we got to say good morning to Diggy Cat and Sarah Edmonds and everybody else who's listening this morning. We're so glad you're here. Good morning, Emily.
Good morning.
How are you, my dearest?
How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
What time is it in Las Vegas and how's the weather?
It's sunny, blue skies, as it almost always is here, and it's just past 8 a.m.
Oh, you are a doll to be on. You're a doll to be on. Thank you.
It's early in the morning.
So it's early, and I'm impressed. And you are a morning person and a night person at the same time. I'm not sure how you do it, but I guess you go to bed. You go to bed pretty early, right? When you're not traveling.
Yeah, when I'm not traveling, when I'm not doing my shows, I go to bed pretty early.
Yeah.
I kind of like the sun to sun type of person.
That sounds very natural.
So wise.
Yeah. So it was a great surprise about 3 weeks ago, and I was like, well, I should probably check in and see who Emily's been booking for the next couple of weeks. And I was like, oh, good. You booked yourself. I'm so glad you did that because we celebrate you every single time because you've been doing an incredible job booking for Postcards, bringing us just like a whole slate of just like you've been bringing your world to us, and we're so grateful. And
so great.
And you're on point and on time and always with a smile, a smile. So we were chit-chatting yesterday, and we decided that we're gonna talk about community today because that is an essential part of what you do. And I'm wondering if you have some thoughts you'd like to maybe lead off with about community and music.
And before you do, Emily, I have you have choice of 2 new nicknames because you've always been the Hurricane, but I think you could possibly be the Ringmaster or the thought leader.
The Ringmaster or the
not just a thought leader, but a thought leader.
Thought leader?
Can I think on that?
No, thought leader. To be the thought leader. You can think on it too. So because you're always thinking and innovative about bringing new ways to bring people together, and that's what think tankers do. But you help people think who think. So you're the thought leader. Or the Ringmaster, whichever.
I'll go with either. Whichever is appropriate by the time we're done talking today.
You have some rings. You could have like tigers jumping through them.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of what's going on?
That's true.
No. Well, no. When I lived on the sailboat and had these tied to the rails, and people asked me what they were for, and I said, "Oh, I hang them off the side of the boat for dolphins to jump through."
That's cool. I don't even know where to go with that. Where are we? This is
Did it ever happen? I'm like believing you. Did the dolphins ever jump through it? The dolphin doing that?
No, but when I was a kid, I did teach my dog to jump through a hula hoop. And that was my show and tell at school one time that I took my dog to school and had to jump through a hula hoop for show and tell when I was like in 4th grade or something like that. third,
that's
fourth
when
grade.
you began your first curated show. Then that's when you started building community. Was at Show and Tell to have your
Exactly.
pup. That was when it all began.
That's when it all began.
I told you, dog and pony show. So
We know.
how did you get from featuring your dog jumping through a hoop in kindergarten all the way to producing shows in Nashville? Inquiring minds want to know.
It's the same hoop.
It's the same hoop.
I have had
Oh my
these
gosh.
hoops. These are, yeah, they're a good 20 years old, my hula hoops. So
Okay.
I've had them around for a while. But actually, it all started when I was at school and I got sick, and I'd been studying film and video, and I wasn't able to continue on to that due to my illness that I had. And when I came back at university, I said, well, what do I know how to do? I know how to throw a really good party. And so my degree is interdisciplinary studies and creative arts. And my major was rock and roll, as rock and roll being the the greatest form of art in the late 20th century. And my thesis was to document that by doing shows. And that's when I started actually really producing shows.
Wow.
And I did them off and on. I did them when I was down in Mexico, raising money for schools down there, just here and there throughout time. And Jason Daniels and Magnolia Road's OG called me up and said, I think we should do a show in Nashville. Well, I knew what that really meant. It meant, Emily, you should do a show in Nashville. And that's how it all began.
That's kind of code words. Like, I think we should. Actually, it means, Emily, we need you to do this, please.
Yeah, definitely.
We're going to have to call you Queen Emily because you are a we, the royal we.
Yeah.
That was my
Queen
nickname.
Emily,
That
that
was my
sounds
nickname in high school from my mom. Was the Queen.
Well, oh my God.
So we started off with that first show with 4 artists, one of whom is Mike Younger, who is one of the very original OGs, and he will be playing at D's on Saturday for the Magnolia Roads American Roots Saturday and Backyard Campfire session.
Yeah.
But the original shows were the hoedowns, and this year would have been our 6th one. I did do it live or virtually. I did 2 hoedowns virtually due to the wonderful pandemic that we're in. And next year we will have the 7th one live at the 5 spot. Yeah.
Oh my God. I can't wait.
So I can't believe it. You never know. So whenever you name anything, be aware you have that name forever.
Forever,
And
right?
no matter what I do, everybody calls it the hoedown.
The hoedown. It's like hoedown, exactly.
Who knew that would be a hook?
Who knew?
Awesome.
Who
Well,
knew?
you know,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say a quick station idea. If you're just joining us, welcome to Postcards. We are so glad you're here. We are talking this morning with our own Emily Grace Hansen of Magnolia Roads. She is our producer, sometimes referred to as Queen Grace, and we are so grateful that you're here, Emily. Carry on with your question, Mehuman.
I was going to ask because one of the things that we've been so blessed by, one of the silver linings of COVID was getting to know you even further because of your skills at building community, no matter what, rain, shine, pandemic, social, whatever. You're going to keep making people come together, and that's the gifting really that you have, more than just a skill and a talent. You're gifted at it, and how you were one of the early responders. Like I don't know if you batted an eye when it all happened. You kept going when no one else was going to do anything.
That's right.
You really you were the trendsetter and set the course for many people. So we want to talk about what were you feeling when it first happened, and how to make that transition, and how well you've done it.
There was part of me that was in denial. Like, I did not cancel my plane ticket to Nashville until literally the week before, even though I knew no one was going to be there. I just was in denial about it. But I already had it was supposed to be Hoedown 5 at the 5 spot, and I already had all the artists. So I started contacting everybody the minute the world really shut down and said, let's go ahead and do this virtually. And I researched some different options. I use Ecamm when I do my virtual festival shows, which I really like. It gives me some flexibility to do it because we use pre-recorded videos. That way I don't have to worry about 20 some artists and their internet connections and all of that. And the first one that I did was over 6 hours long. And I'm sitting there the entire time engineering and switching screens.
I was there.
I got much better at it since I did do 11 virtual festivals, but it became a real community. And one of the great things about it is there were so many artists that I've never been able to include in my live shows that through the pandemic worked with over 100 artists from 20 states in 8 countries.
Wow.
And also because of time differences, I had people all the way from Okinawa and Vietnam to Ireland and England that were able to perform and not have to worry about the time differences in the way that I scheduled it. Many of them I'd worked with before, some I'd wanted to work with, or they're friends of friends. Because when I started Magnolia Roads all those years ago, I really wanted it to be a family. And where we get together and play shows together. And another aspect of that is that the artists complement each other. So if someone has to cancel a show, rather than having to contact the venue and say I have to cancel it, I can say I have someone else that can fill that slot for them, make that show happen, which is a really nice thing. And being an old deadhead and really having that community experience and watching how Bill Graham worked with so many of the same artists in his beginning days, that I think that really was the groundwork and format that I wanted it to be. I wanted everyone to complement and support each other rather than it being focused on a competition, and create it as a community.
Yeah.
That's why I call it Magnolia Roads as family.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you've been super successful at that. I mean, I just in having to only do a couple shows with you and a couple of the hoedowns, but like all these shows we've done with Postcards, I think Jenny, you would agree that you've really your skill, but also your energy around creating family is just really, it permeates everything you touch. It really does.
That's right.
Thank you.
It really rubs off.
I agree. And I think the creativity that has gone into looking for opportunities to build community during this time. I think that's something that the three of us definitely share. And I know our listeners also share, because we've got some really dedicated listeners like Diggy Cat who've done a lot to build community around, these live streams and these little pockets of community that have cropped up. And, I tremble to think what my last year would have been like without you all. Truly. But I don't need to think about that too hard, because that's not the way it played out. We, we've really had some opportunities, and Emily, you've been a huge part of that, and Mehuman for me, to build community effectively through technology. I have made friends. I have made colleagues through these opportunities, and so anyway, I don't want to embarrass you too much, Emily, by waxing completely poetic for an hour about the effect that these things have had on me personally. But I do want to echo Mehuman's sentiments that when we just step forward into the unknown like that, and we make it happen as perfectly or imperfectly as we do, and then we are committed to continuing. Things happen. And so, anyway, that's my little poetic waxing.
I remember at Hoedown 4 when Don Gallardo, who will also be playing on September 25th, he's an OG. from the beginning days as well, and has a new album out. He said to me, he's like, Emily, this is a family reunion. This is such a good time.
Yeah.
And even for the new artists that coming in that meet the people that have performed many, many years before or already know each other in the live events, that it creates a community. And someone else said to me, this is a love fest. And so that was just so touching and moving to me, and felt like real success, that the musicians were actually having fun and hanging out and supporting each other, not just coming in and playing their set and leaving. They actually hang out, which doesn't always happen at shows. A lot of times when you got multiple people on a show, they'll come in, play their slot, and leave, rather than hang out and get to know each other and really create that community.
Right.
And so that's something I tried to do. And I also tried to keep that going when I did that pivot, because I just didn't miss a beat. And I had also done a few years of Rockin' on the River summer concert series in Steamboat Springs. So I brought all those people in. I said, all these people need to get out there and play. Mm-hmm. Lauren Anderson, who's been here on Postcards and did a few of the virtual festivals, she said, I'd be starting to get in a dark place, and all of a sudden I'd get a message from you. Hey, you want to do a virtual festival? And she said, you pulled me out of those depths.
Yeah.
During lockdown.
That's
many
right.
times.
Many times. It's true.
Yep. Yeah.
So that's just, and community is part of culture, but music is such a huge part of culture and community. Because no matter what culture, where you are in the world, whether it was, 1,000 years ago or 2 years ago when we could all get together, whatever it is, whether it's a birthday party, a wedding, music is always part of what we do as humans. It's an essential part of who we are when we come together as a community. And why we had that community, there's virtually for the past 2 years, basically, coming together live, that energy that you get off of each other is so incredible. And there's a magic in the interaction and how the performers thrive off the responses and energy of the crowd. And it's a symbiotic thing that happens that takes it up to a whole new level. That I think is really important and a great part of the community of music. And rather than being I really like to support each other rather than trying to compete against each other type of thing.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, that's a big topic right there. We could spend hours and days really talking about that because, sorry, Mehuman's always got the best questions, but I have to jump in here.
Well, I think what really happens, that's really, when we make the choice, that when we put the title of it's going to be family, when you set a table, you have a big family, you put enough on that table to feed everybody, and then you put a little extra in case somebody drops in, right? You set an extra plate. And that's what you do. You make, and we do a potluck. We all bring our instruments, and we all bring a little something. And then, but there's always that staple of what you've set the table. We've got great bread. We've got all the essentials we need, just in case someone forgot to bring something. There's enough for everybody. And that's really, I love that. It's kind of a reminder because music was before the music industry, right?
Yes.
So, and so that's why, and when the music industry dropped out and didn't know what to do during the pandemic, music kept going, right? Art kept going.
Yeah. I mean, when people thought, they're like, the arts don't matter. Arts is what got us through the pandemic. It was listening to music. It was the virtual shows and festivals and people performing online. It was reading books, watching movies, binge watching Netflix,
or
whatever it is.
Or the guy on the porch in Italy who played a saxophone to the whole plaza. And no one could go out, so he stood on or the piano. You see all these people sitting on their decks playing music so their neighbors could hear music, and it's just like to let them know that someone was there,
Yeah.
That was so incredible. I thought that was so magical what happened with that in Italy, how they did that.
Yeah.
And that was just really incredible. And people started performing in their yards, on their porches.
Yeah.
and just people would come sit 6 feet apart in the street or wherever.
Yeah, I happened
Just
on my street. I did that a
music.
couple times. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because
And I think-
music draws us. It draws us. It touches our hearts, our souls, our minds.
It might be the one thing we agree on, really, food and music. We agree that, in the whole world, we don't all like the same kind of music, but we agree that it's, everyone. I've never met. I met one person my entire life who said they didn't like music, but I'm sure they liked something. They were just being a little grumpy, but they, you know what I mean? Like, and so, it's one of those things that we agree on, like air.
Yeah.
We have some way that we need to have it,
Yeah.
And we saw that.
Yeah. If you're just joining us, this is Postcards. We're so glad you're here listening in, or if you're listening later, we're glad to have you here. I'm Jenny, coming to you live from the, I forgot to mention this, Postcard Studio in Portland, Maine, where it's always 70 and sunny. Mehuman's coming to us live from Sebago Lake, and we are here with the very wonderful Emily Hansen of Magnolia Roads out in Las Vegas, Nevada, talking community, talking music, talking culture, talking pandemic, and the power of culture to keep us going. Keep us going, keep us connected, which is part of keeping us going, and staying connected. And, thinking about culture and the way that it carries, food, music, language, religion, in the most basic sense of ligaments that connect us to one another, as Sarah just brilliantly put, music is medicine, and it is. It is, and we've been able to stay connected. So, where do you want to go? Where should we go with this? We've been talking community.
One of the things about community that I found so interesting is that, as you mentioned, Jenny, many people have connected with other people through my virtual festivals and through postcards that you've met. But we also have the connection of I sometimes don't know that people already know each other and how that works. Like Mehuman, I didn't know that you knew Mike Younger, and he didn't realize that this was you, Mehuman.
I know. We didn't realize that we were each other. It was so weird.
That was the coolest.
It was so weird. I was like, it was just the weirdest, best thing. It was fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. And if anybody is listening, Mike Younger is on the road this week. He's playing at Dirty Nelly's tonight in Charlottesville, Virginia. Friday night, he's playing at the Brooklyn Americana Music Festival under, I think it's a Dumbarton Bridge. Is that correct? Yeah. And then he's playing at the Tinker Street Tavern on Saturday up in Woodstock, and then back at Skinny Dennis in Brooklyn on Sunday night. Great. And then haul ass back down to Nashville.
Saturday and Backyard Campfire Session, Saturday the 25th of September at Dee's Country Cocktail Lounge in Madison, Tennessee. That's going to be produced by the one, the only Emily Hansen of Magnolia Roads. And
can we do a quick roll call of the artists? So you want to do that, Emily? Who's going to be there?
That'd be great.
I don't have it up in front of me.
I have it in front of me. I just don't want to mispronounce anybody's name.
I got it right here.
Yeah,
do the roll right here. Let's take a look. We've got. Oh, can I even read this?
I can read it. Do you want me to?
Yeah, do it. Go for it.
Okay, we got John Lathan and the Lifers. We have. I got to make this a little bit bigger so I can see it better.
Oh, and shout out to Lori Jones. We love you.
We're loving you, Lori Jones.
And I got to bring this closer here so I can see it. And then we have David Newbould. We have Mike Younger. We have the Wild West, the Minks, Renee Wahl and the Sworn Secrets, Natchez Tracers, Alan Thompson and Keshia Baily from Ladycouch, Don Gallardo, Tim Easton, Tommy Womack, Pi Jacobs, Mehuman, Clare Means, Travis Napier, Ted Russell Kamp, K Miracle, Amelia K Spicer, Amelia White, Claudia Nygaard, Chip Greene, David Lane, and Bart Ryan, and also Edan Archer.
Right on.
Yes.
I think I got them all.
There's a lot. You got them all.
And also a giant bald eagle with tattoos, a guitar, and a pair of flip flops. Let's not forget about that guy.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Who is the designer of your poster? Who designed?
Oh, whoops. Let me go
Dean
back.
Tomasek from Nashville, who does all my posters.
Beautiful, beautiful
So
job.
And he just does a wonderful job. So that's kind of been part of my branding of my shows in Nashville.
Yeah.
And that's where I do my shows. And this is a tremendous lineup. That's 24 acts.
Yeah.
We are going to have 2 stages. We'll have the indoor stage and the outdoor stage.
And you've got a couple of sponsors, including Dee's Country Cocktail Lounge, and a couple of sponsors as well, right?
Yep, we do. Founders Brewing Company is one of our sponsors, and we will have specials on some Founders beers that day. And then we will also a sponsor is Penny Joe Polis, Tex Chromosome.
Yeah, Penny
So
Joe.
we've got some of her artists will be performing that day, as well as Postcards. And our other sponsor is Taft Optical Pickups, which is a new company, and they use laser lights for pickups and string instruments.
Oh, very cool. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Gotta say,
That's
interrupt for
cool.
just a second and say a quick shout out to Jojo Napai coming to us live from Los Angeles. We miss you in Maine. We just she just moved on over to the left coast to be closer to family. Living in Pasadena, we love you, we miss you, and thanks for adding sweetness to my morning coffee. She said.
Well, speaking of coffee, at D's on the 25th at 11:30 a.m., come early, that's when the doors will open. We will have donuts and coffee for your enjoyment,
Yes.
including it's Gau's in Madison is the donut place I'm going to get them, and they have these infamous maple glazed bacon donuts.
Wow.
A little bit sweet and a little bit salty that are incredible.
That's
So
you. You're a maple glazed donut. A little bit sweet, a little bit salty.
so come early. If you don't want coffee, you can move on to some of those Founders beers or get a Bloody Mary from the bartenders.
That comes at 11:45.
And you can enjoy all that yumminess and hang out with Postcards too.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's gonna be like a triple yummy.
I know, and I got to sort this out because the Holy Donut is here in Maine, and I've actually thought for a long time that we should get them. We should see if we could get a sponsorship from the Holy Donut because they are, the premier Maine donut. It's the Holy Donut.
Or at least get their donuts, right? Or need them.
Yeah, or at least get some donuts. Would it kill you to give us a couple donuts?
We might have to get them or a Needham, whoever makes the Needhams, because that's the super Maine thing. The Needham.
Oh, don't get me started on Needhams.
Man,
don't get me started on Needhams.
Does anybody have a Needham? Is a potato dough dipped in chocolate. Who would think of that and make it delicious? That's a Mainer thing, right?
It is like it's irresistible.
So good, but
don't go near a Needham.
Okay.
I'll try to remember to grab some. Everyone should try them.
Oh my God.
They're amazing.
Bring a case of Moxie too.
Nothing but calories.
Nothing but calories.
That's how we keep warm up here. We eat them.
Oh my God.
So,
oh my God.
We'll have the coffee and donuts, and during Postcards will be broadcasting from indoors at 11:30 a.m. to 12:45, and then the live music indoors on the indoor stage will start at 12:45. The outdoor stage music will start right at noon, so you do want to come early.
All right.
And we got 8 hours of music for your enjoyment.
Yeah.
And it's streaming, right? Deez is going to stream at least one of the stages.
Yes.
And also you can check out Instagram, Facebook, whatever you got to do to hop on and check those things out. So you can see the show internationally if you want to.
This is true. Right? This is a very, very good point. And one thing I wanted to say was, it just occurred to me, you know how at the symphony they have what's called the cry room? So like if people show up with their babies to a performance, they can go get somewhere quickly where it won't be soundproofed, And I was like, I think all live events right now should have a cry room for all of us so that when we're like overwhelmed by the fact that we're seeing people and hugging people and loving on people, but I think the cry room is the venue.
The cry room is the venue. I expect I'm definitely going to cry. This is going to be my first live event since Hoedown 4 in April of 2019.
Wow.
So my first live event.
Yeah.
And first time that I'm going to see everybody since then.
Yeah.
And it's going to be incredible. I'm having a little anxiety about being around people for the first time, really. I've
Yeah.
been
About that.
small things,
Yeah.
but not something big like this. So, and I'm just nervous because I haven't done it in so long.
Yeah.
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 But I get that way ahead of time. And then the day of show, I just go, I've done everything I can do. Now it's just to keep all your cats on time.
Yeah.
Just herding cats. That's all.
I've done everything I can do, and it's going to be what it is at that point in time.
Yeah.
And more. You done even more. I got to see yesterday, and it's to remind me of you. It reminds me of many wonderful things, but there was a double rainbow in the sky, and it was lightning and thundering. You know, it was all this energy with this beautiful, gorgeous double promise of like hope and things to come that are good. And it was also this energy that changes things, really connected, bright and flashing, and you know, it just the inertia of it, and it was happening at the same time. And I'll have to send to you. I caught a little short video of it, but I haven't figured out how to show it. But that I was thinking about, that's what people do when they press through the difficult things. You know what I mean? They take all that energy and they keep, you know, chasing down the rainbow. You know, and that's exactly what you do.
Yeah.
It's a really symbolic moment.
Chasing down the rainbow. Chasing
I'm
down
always
the rainbow.
chasing down the rainbow. Always looking for those shows for the bands. You know, which has been really challenging, trying to figure out who's having bands, who's being safe, working both coasts. For example, I have Andrew Shepard and Carly Driftwood are going to be playing in LA at the end of the month at Hotel Cafe and at the Wayfarer in Costa Mesa. So the Wayfarer on the, I can't remember which, on the 29th and 30th of September, they'll be in the LA area playing.
Hotel Cafe is a great place. I miss that place.
Yeah.
And all this information is available on your website. Is that right? MagnoliaRoads.com.
A
lot of great
likely on my Facebook page. I have
Facebook page. Okay, good.
My website in a little bit.
Yeah. If you're just joining us, this is Postcards. We're coming to you live from Portland, Maine, Postcard Studio. It's always 70 and sunny, and Sebago Lake, Maine. And we are here with the very wonderful Emily Hansen of Magnolia Roads, coming to you live from Las Vegas, Nevada, where I might point out it's kind of early in the morning. And you're just looking fine and chipper, and you got like acting like it's nothing to get up at a 6 dark early and get on a show. Dark early. We're talking stuff and things. We're talking community, building community around music. If there's any comments you want to leave on that topic, do go ahead and let us know. And Sarah Edmund says, never surrender, Dorothy. And yes, you are right. Never surrender.
If you want to be a part of the postcard community, you can always join us here on Mondays or Thursdays, because we started our new fall, winter, spring season. And
I have a new hat for Monday.
Yes. And you're spoiled with this second verse contest, which is you got to have your entry in by October 31st. Second first contest deadline, Halloween, October 31st, 2021. Write on a postcard, send it to us, and everyone's a winner. We'll consider everything. We will consider everything. In fact, maybe we'll try to get every single verse in and make it the second. See how many verses of postcards you can actually come up with. That'll be hilarious.
Yeah, and just to be clear, we're talking about the postcard song, the one that's at the beginning and the end of the show.
That's
Write another verse. Let's hear it, people. Put it on a postcard. Send it to us. Some of you may have already done this, because I haven't been. We're going to be reading the mail every Monday, 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And you got to put it on a postcard, people, and just put a stamp on that thing and send it to us. P.O. Box 1252, Westbrook, Maine, 04098. Would it kill you?
And everything will be considered. Everything will be considered and shared. So,
but this is a PG show, so just
it's a PG show.
If it's not PG, it's going in the circular file.
Yeah, it's going. It's going in the circular file, or it may be edited a little bit.
It might be edited. No, circular file. Circular file.
Yeah. Hilarious.
Well, the guest next week, Pi Jacobs,
Yeah.
who's from LA, will actually be coming on Postcards from Americana Fest in Nashville. So she will be actually joining from Nashville and be able to give you updates on the beginning of the first day of Americana Fest.
Oh, that's right. You're right. I didn't even
That's
think
gonna be
about
fun.
that. That's next week.
Yeah, that
Oh
is.
my
And
gosh.
so we'll be doing that, and we'll be I will talk about how we're going to do that too, because I'm going to be at the Americana Fest too, and we can be walking through and talking to Pi Jacobs and doing we're going to be doing all the things this week, aren't we?
Yeah,
We
we're
are.
going to be doing all things. So actually, we're doing. So Thursday, I'm realizing this. Okay, you all are just hearing our backroom chats because see what you got here. Emily, along with being an amazing show producer and booking maven and artist advocate through Magnolia Roads, is also our backroom producer and our booking agent for Postcards. And so we're having a meeting. We're having a business meeting right here on the show.
That's all right. But you know what? This is what we do, and this is why it stays. It's always edge of your seat. Because it's gonna edge of your seat. Anything's possible, and anything's gonna happen, and it's gonna.
I can see
I'm
the look
actually
come over
super
your face,
excited
Neymar.
because I'm excited because it's gonna be such a great opportunity to just all the things we're gonna be where we making music, making the show, being with an artist we haven't met before. It's gonna just be probably our best day. So don't miss it. Pi Jacobs this next Thursday is gonna be with while we're at Americana Fest preparing for Magnolia Road show. It's going to be just a big, crazy, fantastic week.
It is going to be
everything
amazing.
good's happening this next week.
Yeah, so this is a perfect time. So what you want to do is you want to start out next Monday at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Mehuman and I are going to catch our breath together.
Yeah,
and go.
I'll be on the road, but I will be catching my breath as James is driving.
All right,
yeah.
All right.
We'll be catching our breath. We got a lot going on next week.
Yes.
Yes. 3 shows next week.
Yeah. 3 shows.
And people.
And we're
what?
With people.
I know. And I'm going to be sitting here being like, "What's happening?" and doing my thing from right here in the Postcard studio. So
quarterbacking. You're gonna be You'll be quarterbacking because
I'm quarterbacking.
because I mean, honestly,
oh my God, that's true.
Had not had the thought to do this, you know what I mean, and figure out how to do it. You know, it's all about the energy you're talking about. What we all have in common is wanting to build community and then taking a step further to do it. You know what I mean? And that's
So if you just jumped on, we've been talking community, we've been talking Nashville, we've been talking pandemic, technology connections, staying connected, making new friends, building out a network, using that network, and moving. What I sometimes say is moving. How do we, in terms of community, how do we move from that competitive edge that we need to have in order to survive in this world? How do we maintain that but not use it against other people in the sense of also being able to form collaborative relationships? How do we build community and also be competitive? Like, that's a big question. And so
I have a thought in that.
Let's do it.
My thought about competition has always been pretty much the same. I am always competing with myself to bring my A game to wherever. I get so turned on by when other people do their best. Like, excellence is my turn on. When people do their very best, they try, and you're best in that moment because everyone's growing. But be wholehearted about it. That gets me excited about any kind of artist. So in competition for me is like, I always think about, like, I want to bring my A game, and I want everyone else to bring their A game. Bring your whole heart, and that makes it exciting to me because I'm always trying to, like, just try to be. My goal is always to be the weak link in the room. If I'm the weak link in the room, I know I'm in for a treat because everyone else is gonna, the buoyancy of bringing your A game to it, no matter just your whole heart, it makes things kinetic. And I think when we think about competition, about saying, I want to be better than I was yesterday. I want to be more loving, more committed, more excited, more generous, and we think about moving ourselves forward, the space is full. So there's no room for anything else except that healthy competition of bringing your A game. And I think that's a lot of times when I don't feel that way, that's when it gets weird for me. If I don't bring my whole heart to something, that's when I have space for the stuff that shouldn't be there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I'm not bringing my whole offering to the table of saying eat and enjoy. So
yeah,
I think for me that's worked in keeping me I feel a healthy place about that, and it also has helped me really sit down and enjoy the work of other people, no matter what it is. I'm always stunned about things that other people do, and I'm like, and it inspires me. That's how I get inspired, by seeing other people do well. And it just always has inspired me.
Yeah.
So that's what I do.
So I want to share a comment from one of our listeners, Sarah Edmonds, who refers to herself as a professional beginning guitar player, which I love. And I think we should all think that way. Being a professional beginner, just like it resonates with what you were just saying. But she was saying, compete with yourself and live with everyone else. And here, this bit from her, a lot of wisdom there. Things done in love are never really done in competition anyway.
That's right. That's right.
All right.
And we do have a weird,
Thank you, Sarah.
in our, I think in humanity, we could allow, if we look at the definition of things, how they were intended versus how we allow them to become, the word competition was never a bad thing. It's just that we're not good stewards of it. We have to be stewards of exactly what Sarah's written there about live together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Keep yourself, but live with others and live well. I'll just add that part. Live and live well.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in the only person that you're competing with is yourself, to make yourself a better person. And I've been in and out of the entertainment business, and the times that I left it, it was because of the competition and the backstabbing. And I didn't want to have to become that type of person. That I had to stab people in the back to get ahead, rather than just having progression based upon and success based upon my merits and what I was doing. So when Magnolia Roads really evolved and grew, I really wanted that family thing, to be supportive and not competing against each other, but be supportive. And that's also something that's really happened through doing these big live events. And I do them in Nashville. It is Music City. Everybody wants to go there, and so many of the artists that I work with live down in that area. So it just made sense to do it. And when I was looking for something, I've been working with D's practically since they opened up. And Amy D and Danielle Walker have done a great job and created a great community out in Madison. And Madison is basically like the new hip place in Tennessee, because it's a little bit, or in Nashville area, it's been a little bit more affordable. I'm sure that's changing, as it is everywhere. But D's, I think it was a couple months after they opened when I had a first show there, and it was probably just a couple acts, and I wasn't even there. And then one year for Americana Fest, Daniel called me up about a month out and said, hey, can you put together a show for a Saturday for me? Put together a lineup. And I did. And that's where it all started, with the American Roots Saturdays at D's.
Oh, my God.
And I didn't have enough time, so I said, hey, they got a backyard. I bet we could do a second stage.
Hey, they got a backyard.
I was there.
I said, there's space. I can have more musicians. During the pandemic, they went and actually built a stage back there.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's a really special spot that is tucked away in Madison, in the middle of all kinds of buildings and commercial buildings.
Like the donut shop and the adult store.
In the adult store. Oh, the donut shop's right there. Well, yeah, and it's this little. You walk in, it's like walking into another world, truly, and then stepping into the backyard. I'll never forget. What's that?
It's like you've gone back to the 1970s.
Totally. It's like game on. Let's do this, people. Sarah had one other comment here that I wanted to share with y'all, which is that music really shouldn't be violent. And I think, this brings up for me, absolutely. And I think, that includes the subtle forms of aggression that we all can feel towards each other because we're all trying to get someplace, and sometimes we feel like we're cruising along and then like somebody crosses our path and we have a choice in those moments to be like, you're in my way. Or to be like, okay, who are you? Why are you here? What's this piece? Maybe there's something from the past that I have to kind of work out here. I was talking with a young friend yesterday who's originally from Angola, artist here in Portland, who's really wonderful. His name goes by Gucci World. He's on Instagram. But we were having a nice discussion. But generally, the gist of it is that, in his philosophy, and this is a young up and coming artist, and so happy to hear this. It's like, the philosophy amongst his community is that we're here to help each other. And if people aren't here to help each other, in one way, shape or form, and I've had, and I've been the ambitious person who's like, done that before too. But the roses are growing all around us, people. And if it's not angelic, it's not music. There's a lot that we have to do that's not angelic. But the music itself is not to blame. The music is never to blame. And it's sometimes, we are all people, we're imperfect, we've got all this kind of stuff. But moving from competition to collaboration is one of my lifetime goals. I was educated to be a competitive person. I know how to do that. But to forge a path that involves a lot of ambition, tempered by this desire to help one another, to be of service to one another. Anyway, this is one of my favorite topics. You're just joining us. This is Postcards. You're on Postcards. We're happy you're here.
And I just want to let everyone know as well that the backyard is a listening room experience. That is where you'll find your acoustic acts, solo, duo, probably a trio or two, because I keep hearing people are going to have other people join them. They're like, oh, here's going to be here. I'm going to be with them and them. And many of the artists that I work with, they'll have a drummer will play in 2 different bands. A bass player will play in a couple different bands. A guitar player will sit in with another act. So there's a lot of crossover in that community and collaboration that happens. And the indoor stage will be our rock and roll stage. We start off with a couple duos and then it's bands for the rest of the day, full bore indoors.
Nice.
And I've done it before and this works.
It works great. I was there. It was a learning experience for me. I was like, that's how it's done. I want to give a quick shout out to Shane Alexander, my producer out in Los Angeles, California, and also my friend Guy, who is all the way over in Eastern Congo in Goma. Actually, no, not in Goma. Anyway, from Goma. Hello, Guy. Hello, Shane.
Hello.
Here. Quick hello from Diggy Cat here. A high five from Diggy Cat. One of my favorite proverbs: "Life is 10%, and the other 90% is how we choose to react to it." I think that is.
Oh, I love that. Diggy Cat.
Gorgeous. Thank you, Diggy.
Cuff. Love it.
Yeah. So, well, we're almost out of time.
Yep.
Which is hard to believe. And we've been talking with a very, very wonderful Emily Hansen of Magnolia Roads, one of our wonderful backroom producer who's been bringing us fantastic artists. And we have an incredible lineup coming up this fall on Thursdays, thanks to you. It's all listed on our Facebook page. Please go over, like our page. Also, look for us on YouTube. We have a brand new YouTube channel and it needs some love. So go over and love it. Subscribe. And because we're going to be broadcasting there as well going forward. And it's going to be Mondays, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Stuff and Whatnot with Jenny and Mehuman, and Reading the Mail. You don't want to miss that. And Thursdays, we're going to have incredible guests coming in, Americana artists from around the place, around the world, actually, and other folks who are involved in the music industry. So don't miss that. How should we go out? What should we say?
The song.
We got
always go out with a song, right?
Well, Jenny, I request a Jenny original since you will not be at Magnolia
that's
Roads, American Roots Saturday, and backyard campfire sessions this
Oh
year.
my gosh.
That's a
A
great
little
idea. I
incident.
love that.
Oh,
That's a great
gee
idea.
whiz. All right.
I would like a Jenny original.
Oh my gosh.
I second that motion.
Thank you.
second
All right, let
that.
me get this tuned up. Why don't you guys talk about stuff and things for 2 seconds while I'm getting this thing tuned up.
Stuff and things.
Stuff
Yeah.
and things.
Well, we're looking forward to. It's going to be it is going to be a reunion weekend
It
for
is.
all of us for the show, and then we have a little private shindig afterwards next day, which I'm really looking forward to.
Yep. And
So
we're gonna meet in real life for the first time.
Yeah, and if you haven't,
Oh my
artists
God.
listening, please RSVP to that wonderful invitation that's been put out. Right? Want to make
Yeah.
sure.
You can find the times everyone is playing, all the details on the Facebook Magnolia Roads page. There is the event there as well, so you can see that, see who's playing on what stage, what time they're playing, all your other details. You must be vaxxed or have a negative test to enter D's. That is, all the Nashville independent venues came together and had that a requirement. So if you're going to anything at Americana Fest, you've got to have your vax and you got to have your proof of it. So
Right.
I suggest having it printed out and on your phone, just in case something happens to one or the other.
Yep.
Or your negative test, and bring those masks. Don't be afraid or embarrassed to wear a mask as well, because we want you to be safe, and that is very, very important to me. We got 24 acts, and I don't want to, and that's, I don't know, we have like close to 80 performers in that range there that will be, so I don't want to be a spreader event, and I want everyone to be safe. So that's very important to me.
Well,
And I want to remember our sponsors: Founders Brewing Company, Texachromazone,
Yep.
and Taft Optical Pickups as well.
wow, awesome list of
And
sponsors
thank you in
there.
advance for all that.
Yeah.
Oh, and the donut folks, we're getting donuts.
No, I'm buying those.
Oh, so you're our sponsor then. Our
the donut sponsor is Emily Hansen of Magnolia Roads, who's been our guest this morning. Well, isn't that just so neato nifty? I'm just all right. Here we go. I didn't know what to play, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the title track from my last record. And Emily, so grateful to have you here this morning, Mehuman. You know, it's always a pleasure. It's always just love and fun with both of y'all. And I'm so grateful. And thank you, Emily, for everything you're doing to get this show together for Nashville next week. And I'm going to go out with this one. Also, a nice little shout out, I have to say, to Thea Wood, who just tuned in and threw us a like. We love you. Please go like our Facebook page if you haven't done so already. It really does give us a boost. We love our likers.
With the Verizon Foundation, we want to make sure we shout out the ladies who are doing great work.
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh my gosh, yes. All right, so here we go. Going out with this one. I got my old sweetheart back in my arms again. And that good Mr. Bluebird isn't working his charms again. And Lady Luck, she's taking her sweet old turn. We got happiness to burn. So don't ever go, don't ever be a fool again. I got my heart on my sleeve and it's dedicated to you. Keep the fire warm until that moment I return. We'll have happiness to burn. We'll have happiness, happiness to burn. On the day you left, my skies turned gray. Then the sun came out and the teardrops dried. You decided to stay. I got my old sweetheart back in my arms again. And the good Mr. Bluebird is working his charms again. And Lady Luck, she's taking her sweet old turn. We got happiness, happiness to burn. Keep the fire warm until that moment I return. We'll have happiness, happiness to burn. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for the request, Emily. Thank you so much, Emily Hansen of Magnolia Roads, for being here. Join us Saturday, September 25th at American Roots Saturday and Backyard Campfire Session. Saturday, September 25th at Dee's Country Cocktail Lounge in Madison, Tennessee. As Postcards, we will be back on Monday getting prepped for a wonderful time in Nashville. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Bye.